Hey guys, welcome back to Cough Country. This is Steve with your cannabis news. I'm coming to you from the late night green set, Cough Country's newest panel style talk show. It's soon. Be sure to check it out when it does. But this week, we got all sorts of stories coming for you. I hope you're subscribed so you don't miss them. We start off with the back and forth that's been going on for months. And unfortunately, it looks like it's going to happen. The only country in Asia to decriminalize cannabis might actually be pulling the plug. I'll tell you more about that. Then the NBA is going on right now. The Brooklyn Nets are the first NBA team to partner with a CBD company. Big news there. And then the DEA is getting knocked down a peg because they posted about Nixon's drug war during Black History Month. That's a major faux pas, and I will tell you why right now on Cough Country News.
No sticks, no seeds, just news.
It's Steve with your cannabis news.
A few weeks ago, we covered a story about Thai sticks, a legendary smoke that was lost to the ages and is trying to make a comeback. Well, it looks like we stirred up some controversy in the comments section, and next week, we're going to take some time and we're going to get to the bottom of it. You guys want the facts? We're going to find them. So check us out as we do a deeper dive into the myth, the legend, the reality of Thai sticks. Next Monday, be sure to check it out. They did it, guys. It's finally happening. Thailand is banning marijuana. So we've been covering it for months, so don't get all teary-eyed on me. Yes, the mecca of weed in Asia is packing their bags and they're going home. They pretty much made it legal 2 years ago, and now they're cracking down on recreational. Decriminalized cannabis turned into a tourism boom. And it helped out some poor farmers, but it's getting some nasty whiplash as people are saying the unregulated market is giving it to kids, crime's going up, and too many people who can't handle their cannabis are winding up in the hospital. It's a problem and it's got to go. The health minister put out a bill that's going to ban recreational but still hold on to the medical market. I mean, after all, this whole move to decriminalize was really all about capitalizing on the CBD market. They never really wanted recreational in the first place. They're going to make cannabis use for entertainment or pleasure illegal, with almost $2,000 fine going back to a regulated, doctor-controlled, medical-only market. No flowers, so people growing themselves won't be able to do anything with it unless they can process it, and the police are getting beefed up too, nice and quiet. Thailand decriminalized cannabis back in 2022, taking everything but THC off of the banned narcotics list, and that was a big deal, my friends. They were the first and only Asian country to do it, and they caused quite the stir. The move promised a new cash crop for the country, helped out farmers in the north who had been growing cannabis for centuries, and promised a whole new industry to spur the economy. When they did it, it was only supposed to be medical, since THC wasn't allowed, and decriminalizing would just help that along. But in reality, the government just checked a box and went home. No one actually bothered to regulate the whole thing. Sure, they had a few rules on paper. You need licenses, can't smoke in public, no kids. But it was all a joke. You could get whatever you wanted, wherever you wanted. Violence started breaking out. Kids were using it. Unlicensed shops were popping up everywhere while high tourists inundated the country. People who had never used cannabis were winding up in the hospital, and by this past year, every party looking for re-election was promising to do away with the recreational mess they had on their hands. But they're saying they don't have any choice but to put cannabis back on the narcotics list. People in the cannabis world, though, are trying to fight City Hall, saying, yeah, there's a lot of problems out there, but they are all there because no one bothered to enforce the rules. It's not cannabis's fault. Quote, I quote, I don't think there's anyone who disagrees with the control of use for underage children. No one wants to see people puffing weed on the street. Sellers also don't want to see those street vendors who sell without a license. So while they try to reel in cannabis, the cat might be out of the bag on this one. The industry's ballooned in the last year or two, and to snap your fingers and expect it to disappear at the stroke of a pen, I mean, it's a bit of a reach. Guys, don't go anywhere. We got more cannabis news for you in just a second. We'll be right back.
This is a flower. Some people might try to tell you that it's a Schedule I controlled substance. They might scream drugs, drugs, drugs over and over and over again. They might put drugs in all caps. You might even start to believe that this is a drug, but it's not. This is medicine.
Guys, thanks for sticking around. We got more news for you. Let's get back to it. The NBA is teeing up to go hard in the paint this year, with CBD being the ones to help them do it. The Brooklyn Nets and the New York Liberty became the first NBA and WNBA teams to partner with a CBD company. Mind Drinks is going to hook the teams up with their CBD wellness beverage, and in turn, the players are going to help them sell it. Months ago, last year, the NBA dropped marijuana from the banned substances list, and when they did that, they allowed the players to get involved with cannabis too, as long as, they stick to CBD. But it's taken the league this long to make something happen, and the New York teams are the first ones to jump into the pool. But the sports world is loving CBD right now. Major League Baseball has a partnership with Charlotte's Web, a big CBD company, and Mind Drinks, again, got in with the Chicago Cubs last year and became one of their sponsors. The Kansas City Royals partnered with Pure Spectrum CBD, and even the New York Media Softball League with members like Wall Street Journal and BuzzFeed. Even they've got a deal going with the Kentucky CBD company. I don't know. The dominoes are falling, just one after the other. The 2018 Farm Bill legalized hemp and in turn legalized CBD, but states have been slow to embrace cannabis after it's been public enemy number one for 50 years. So almost 6 years later, CBD has reached the point where it's normal enough for the sports world to get in on it. And it makes total sense. CBD helps athletes with muscle recovery, regenerative sleep, helps mitigate the negative effects of stress during competition. It alleviates inflammation and is a non-addictive way to manage pain. Pretty much everyone has stopped testing for it, including the UFC and the NCAA. And the athletes are saying great things about its results. So the next time you're in the stands, you might see an ad for a CBD drink instead of for Budweiser. The DEA is getting kicked in the balls because they posted on social media celebrating Nixon's drug war just as Black History Month was getting started. And if you don't know why that's messed up, let me tell you. The DEA's Throwback Thursday post showed Nixon getting a pat on the back from the International Narcotic Enforcement Officers Association for doing such a good job cracking down on drugs in the U.S. Nixon didn't just start the war on drugs. He was the war on drugs. In 1970, he replaced the Marijuana Tax Act of 1937, which didn't go hard enough on cannabis, and set up the controlled substance scheduling system that we know and love today. And where is marijuana? Yep, right at the top. In 1971, he declares war against drugs, and by 73, he set up the whole DEA just to enforce these policies. And these guys are putting him on a pedestal as their grand founder when his own aide, John Ehrlichman, came out in an interview and openly admitted his whole drug policy, specifically focusing on marijuana, was a scheme to target the anti-war left and black people. Read this. I want you to read this. Nixon had two enemies, okay? The anti-war left and black people. You understand what I'm saying? We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by criminalizing marijuana, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did. Of course we did. They legit chose to pursue a policy that would continue to log generations of people into a criminal system that'll mark them for the rest of their lives, cutting them off from public assistance, employment, denial of child custody, voting rights, loans, all because of a criminal record. And this is the same Schedule I marijuana policy that is being enforced by the federal government through the DEA that Nixon put in place to vilify minorities and keep himself in power. A snowball that turned into a legacy of mass incarceration, bias toward people of color that today sees over 500,000 arrests a year for cannabis possession. The war on drugs is one of the costliest and least successful campaigns ever launched by the government. We spent over $1 trillion to stamp out illegal drugs, and drug use is more prevalent than ever. There were 100,000 overdose deaths last year. Possession arrests have tripled since the 80s, and every time they crack down on one drug, another takes its place. And after all their effort, after all these years of stamping marijuana out, over half the country has gone ahead and legalized it anyway. Now, if that's not a fail, I don't know what is. And with all that, people are asking, this is the agency that we're supposed to trust to objectively decide cannabis's final schedule, posting drug war propaganda to kick off Black History Month. Ooh, not a good move, guys. Not a good move. Guys, thanks so much for checking us out. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow Cough Country News. Tune in next time so you don't miss anything here, where it's always no sticks, no seeds, just news.